Hello. 1 Corinthians 14:33. For God is not a God of disorder, but of peace, as in all the meetings of God's holy people. 2 Corinthians 11:3. But I, Paul, am afraid that, as the serpent deceived Eve by his craftiness, your minds will be led astray from the simplicity and purity of devotion to Christ. In today's day and age, you see a lot of confusion in this world. That brings us into what we're going to be watching today.
Hey, welcome everybody to the channel and all.
Welcome everybody to LongWalker's Woke Ass Wednesday. So we're gonna go into some stuff about the pride flags and how many there are.
It's just basically, it's going to start off with the overwhelming confusion that you see. And then we'll talk about all the pride flags that are found, and followed up with anything else that, But anyway, hello to Sancho.
Yeah, hello Sancho. Welcome. Okay. First one, we're heading into now.
Here, asking people at NYC Pride, how many genders are there? How many genders are there?
I don't know, however many people are. I just say mind your business.
I like that. How many genders can you get?
Literally, go with me.
Can we ask y'all some questions to our YouTube show?
Okay.
Hey, Mark. Dang. But hey, can y'all answer how many genders? Can you back up? Oh, sorry, man. Let's see. How many genders are there?
I believe there's an infinite spectrum.
How many genders can have a baby?
There's a difference between gender and sex.
How many sexes can have a baby?
I mean, it takes two sexes in order to have a baby.
Like, how many sexes can have a baby out of their womb?
Well, any individual that has a womb.
So that's how many? Infinite? I'm asking people. I'm just trying to get a clarification. So
If you have a womb, your gender can be in an infinite spectrum, but
so you're a birthing person.
I just keep thinking to myself that 10 years ago, this would have been a parody. And just by watching these people, it's sad that this generation became like this. Gender to these people is like a personality trait. And you can see in their faces that they know the correct answer, but they need to answer as it relates to the culture that they are a part of. But anyway, let them live in their
Yes, I will. I'll make sure to pause when I'm going to talk.
illusion, because you can't fix someone who doesn't want to be fixed.
Total free world. We're advocates of not mistreating little children to death. That's the position that we oppose, the F them kids position. Third time I've heard it today. What's that? F them kids? We do think that that's what it's about. We think that the reason people like yourself like abortion is because you hate kids. And because you hate God who created those kids and made them in his image.
I think murder's pretty cool.
Murder's cool?
What are your pronouns?
Either she, her, or they, them.
What does they, them mean?
Pretty much it's when I'm feeling more of not gender confined, like pretty much no gender. I choose to go by.
Yeah, so that whole ordeal is just somebody that doesn't want to stick to one thing. Instead of being a her, it wants to be able to call itself, whatever they want for that day. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Did she call herself gender fluid, or was it just they, them?
It was they, and you asked what they was.
Wait till you hear about some of this stuff. I mean, it's like, you'll see.
Yeah.
They, them.
So you don't feel like a gender sometimes?
Pretty much. Like, I'm still questioning what my gender is. Like,
So how does that process work?
Okay, see, that goes into what I'm talking about for today, confusion. Everybody wants to make things more confusing than what it's supposed to be in life. You've got the male, you've got the female. Now everybody wants to be whatever they want to be, instead of just knowing what they are and going with it. So, I mean, the next video with the pride flags is something else too. I've seen little bits of it, and it's just eye roll worthy.
They get so angry anxious too when you ask them those very simple questions. What is a woman? Can men give birth? They get so stressed out. They're like afraid to answer wrong. And that
Yes.
shows all the kind of societal pressure.
And they walk away. That
They
head
walk
down,
away, right.
walk
It's
away.
like they know in their heart of hearts that they're telling a lie, or that it is true that there's only two genders, or that only women can get pregnant.
Yes.
They're like socially conditioned. It's like, oh, that's wrong. You can't say those things.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah, yes, it is, Sancho.
Pretty much just I'm playing around with different gender identities and different pronouns until I figure out exactly which one.
And so some days you feel like a what, and some days you feel like a what?
Some days I feel she, her. Other days, like today, I'm feeling more no gender.
Wow. Do you agree that there are only males and females in the human race?
No.
Okay, so you definitely don't agree with my conclusion then at all.
No.
We actually are totally on opposite sides of this question, it turns out. So,
Okay, and this little clip here is actually fascinating because I saw this one with Matt Walsh a while back. And this guy that he's talking to was actually like one of the more decent conversations that he's had with these people.
what are the other categories if not male and female?
We are going to be here all night if I have to do doing that.
We're not, because there's none. So it's a.
What do you identify yourself as?
I identify as a cis girl and bisexual.
How about you? Bisexual trans woman. What do you think is the best thing about being bi?
The options. I get to choose literally whoever that I like and obviously likes me back.
What's the best thing?
They said it right there. They get to choose. That is all that they want.
Being trans.
Oh my God, I've got both worlds. I lived growing up as a male and I got to experience what that was like, and now I get to see the other side. It's a whole nother world, different rules. It's beautiful. I understand all sides.
I identify as which? Where's my motherfucking money?
Hi, I'm Nicole, and my pronouns are she, they, z.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
And I am gender fluid.
But of course you are.
But I'm the type of gender fluid who never goes fully into man.
Everybody knows you never go full.
Man. Maybe I'll go fully into woman, but I'll never go fully into man. But I will go into mask.
What?
So when I'm feeling, feminine, my pronouns are she, her. When I'm feeling a little less feminine, but still feminine, it's going to be she, they.
So I
But
look
on the
right now,
opposite end of the spectrum, I
was just saying that last clip with what's his name from Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, John C. Reilly?
Yeah, John C. Reilly. It's how I look.
It's like, oh God, I forgot what I was gonna say about it. There, go ahead. I remember. The Lady Ballers. In Lady Ballers, there was like a guy they were interviewing when he's like, so I identify as a lady on the court, but in the bedroom I identify as a man.
Yeah. Yes.
am Caesar.
That's not a real thing.
That is because to me
Not a real thing,
personally,
Peter.
and this isn't kosher, this isn't orthodox, I personally view them to be somewhat masculine.
And yes, Sancho, I agree. That whole question, what is woman, and the answers that you get out of that it's just downright insane. I mean, a woman is very easy to identify. Even scientifically, it's a matter of what the person looks like, what parts,
Just chromosomes. And then there's the bone structure.
the bone structure. Yes, that's one thing that Dr. Lott and I have talked about a lot. It's the bone structure. You can really identify between the male and female, between the bone structure.
In anthropology, when we were like studying those mummies out in the desert, you couldn't tell what they were. They were thousands of years old. You could tell what they were by the flesh. You could tell by the bones. It was very clear. It was like, okay, well, they have a wider set clavicle. They have shorter set ribs. And if it was a woman, they had a more scooped pelvis with the bigger holes in the pelvis and the bones there,
So can you
Totally different.
can you imagine the people that are digging up today's day and age bodies
Well, they'll still
in the
look
future?
Well, they'll still look like a man or a woman.
But they're gonna know the name from the headstone differently, and they're gonna be like
If there's
really
headstone.
confused. Yeah, but they'll be really confused to that point.
Confusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Masculine, like he, him, except you put a little z because is a little different. So like you say, like he's over there, just say Z's over there. So as I wake up on this lazy Sunday afternoon, my pronouns today are Z's are.
It's as simple as that.
I use she, her pronouns. I'm not sir.
God, this
Yeah, like
one.
it's like a knife in the heart.
That guy.
I did specifically ask ahead of time not to be called sir. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Yeah, the Sweetwater starts at okay.
I'm so sorry. I apologize.
It's just always like a knife. It always hurts every single time. I was wondering if there's a manager I could talk to about something that happened. Yeah, I was called sir. Oh, okay. It just really sucks every time it happens. Sorry about that. I don't need to be called ma'am. I just need to not be called sir, you know? Can you call me sir? Hey, I just want to tell you that
If I was a server, I'd be like, okay, from now on, I'm calling you it.
I call it something else.
the person who gave me this called me sir.
Call you B.
Called me sir.
Oh. Yeah.
It's just like, it kind of just hurts a lot to get called sir.
Oh, sorry about that.
There aren't misgendering you. You are misgendering yourself. And we should not condone these types of mental health issues. Stop blaming everyone else for misgendering yourself. And you know what's the funny and crazy part about this is that he is recording himself to get some views out of quote unquote getting misgendered.
I'm a biologist. Are you saying that a woman is only a person who has two X chromosomes?
I think that's the scientific definition, yes.
It's actually not. You can be a woman with female genitalia and be XY.
You're talking about a very rare condition known as intersex. What we're talking about in our culture are people with perfectly normal functioning sexual organs trying to have them removed and trying to transition to another gender, which is impossible scientifically. What I'm saying is the way out of that problem is not surgery according to the data. It's practically the same rate whether they have the surgery or not. My problem is with the children.
Is there a magic button at 18 that instantly makes you feel like you know who you are and absolutely what your gender is?
No, we've just chosen 18 kind of as the adulthood crossing point, although for some issues it's 21, like drinking. No, maybe it's later than 18.
And that's but why do you have to call the cops over that?
Look at my ear. Like this is
Salt. What do you mean? It's battery. Something wrong with her. She don't got it all. She ain't got it all.
Should we just let that happen? I just gotta.
No, but you shouldn't be calling the cops.
Why not?
Sure.
And why are you letting this organization detain people like
It's
that?
definitely
They're not
not
the
help.
cops. I'm not drunk at all, actually. I live in the
Not entirely sure what's happening on this one, so I'm trying to figure that out.
neighborhood. I know about your organization. Y'all just act as intermediary cops, and you're not supposed to detain people.
He has to be accounted for that. He just punched him in the face.
So then why don't they come forward?
You want him to kick his...
No, necessarily.
All right, then what else do you... That's what they job.
Yeah, you're not gonna go without consequences for punching someone. You can't get away with it, especially if the cops are nearby. It's like they're against normal policing, but are all for actual authoritarianism.
Okay, is it okay if I touch you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is it okay if I touch you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so before we get started, do you mind if I touch you?
Why?
Are you a witch? No, I'm just asking for your permission.
So how are you supposed to cut my hair if you don't touch me?
Just give you asking for permission.
Don't ask me no stupid question, please. If I let your evil spirit cut my hair.
What are your pronouns? They, them. She, they. I'm glad we exchanged those. What are your pronouns? Oh, they, them. Okay, thank you for asking. Yes.
What do you want me to refer to you as? Like, what's your
Yeah,
problem?
like I told you, you're a witch.
No, I'm just
Well, are you a
asking.
ritualist?
I love this little thing that they're doing here with the back and forth with different scenarios of different people. It's like, that's so great, especially with the black guys, because it's like, you know, can I touch you? What do you mean? And then, what's your pronouns? The guy like just turns around like, are you serious?
Just asking.
What do I look like? He, she, Z, G. In fact, it's okay. I don't need no more airport.
Then how you gonna get to the wedding?
Don't worry, you'll find out.
Really have a right to be treated respectfully.
We are unfortunately running out of time, but Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned. But it always goes back to that old adage: sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter, well, no, that's just obnoxious.
Peter
Sorry,
Lloyd,
you have to.
I'll tell you how they go what they want to hear and what they say matters, and that's it. That's all that it ever comes as. So, those people, there is no talking to. You can't say one way or the other. It's their way, and
Literally no reason.
Yeah.
With them,
exactly. It's ridiculous. Oh, Burn, the classic and reasonable. Yep.
Good question. I don't know, just hearing like all the stories about like all this messed up stuff they did in the past, like I'm not even black, but I have a grudge against them.
Are you referring to slavery?
Yeah, and just like the treatment of them over time since then, like all the discrimination.
Okay.
Do you think that
a little side note? I saw on either Mediocre's or perhaps it was Hadan's or something, the girl that's sitting next to that one with the purple hair.
Yeah.
She identifies as a dog. But she wants human rights. She's like, should I not be treated like a human just because I identify as a dog?
Yeah, see, that gets into a whole nother ball game. People that...
If you're identifying as a dog, then you get dog rights.
Yeah, so, if they're ever out in public with no leash on, they need to get ticketed, or their owner does. I mean, I don't know how that works.
You need to make sure that they're up to date on their shots, they have
Yep.
the rabies shots.
They have to get their rabies shot and
they're registered
everything.
with the county, and then,
Yep.
People were the only ones who engaged in slavery?
So wait, are you trying to like say that like white people were slaves too?
Yeah, white people were also slaves.
That's where the term slave comes from, is the Slavic region.
Exactly.
Eastern Europeans are still oppressed even within
I don't know, but I didn't see them oppressed over here that much. Like, I don't know. In history, I don't see books talking about the oppression of white people.
What do you think that is?
We're going to be here all night. Don't worry. All night. That silence answered the question on behalf of you. Just accept that you lost the argument and you learned something new.
Travis Allen, he was a girls' soccer coach at Randolph Union Middle School in Vermont. He was just suspended from his job without pay because he complained about a male student looming around the girls' locker room. Then the school punished Travis Allen's daughter, Blake Allen, for speaking about it too. Travis, you complained about a man in the women's locker room and you were punished?
Correct. I made a social media post that referred to the male student as a male, and I was punished because I misgendered him.
Blake Allen, what did you do wrong in the eyes of the school and how were you punished?
I was in the locker room and the trans student walked in. The rest of the team was in there. I was really uncomfortable and I left, and I told the school and they just shut me down and said there's nothing they could do, and I was later suspended.
How old were you when this happened?
I'm 14, I'm a freshman.
And when you complained about a dude in the girls' locker room, you got suspended?
Yes.
This is the craziest.
Yeah, this is the craziest thing, because we live in a day and age now where a man can call himself a woman, go into the women's locker room, get a hard-on, and not have any consequences for his actions anymore. That is the day and age that we live in.
Stuff that I've ever heard. Suspending both father and daughter for speaking the truth. Yeah, that tells you that the educational system wants to control the way you think and wants to force their ideology on students.
Literally, I'm seeing so many white people right now going on like organizer retreats and posting about their joy and how awesome it was. Honestly, I want to see more of y'all like sitting your ass at home and giving your money to black and brown people so they can do that shit. I want to see more of y'all like sitting your ass at home and giving your money to black and brown people so they can do that.
Hi there, my name's Katie and I'm a non-binary teacher. And this is my classroom library. And as you can see, it has a lot of books, but there's one big problem with it. None of them look or act or feel like me. So you can help by going to the link in my profile and donating to my Donors Choose project to get more LGBTQ plus friendly books in our school from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade. Thanks.
Girl, what even?
Yeah, and I've seen some of the books that they talk about, and it is absolutely downright disgusting and should not be in the hands of any child out there.
It is a literal guidebook of how to like give blowjobs and stuff.
Yeah.
Frame by freaking frame. Where to put your hands, everything.
And they want to show this stuff to kids so that they feel more comfortable.
Yeah, there was an 11-year-old that just went to the board with his dad and like
Yeah,
read from it, and it was just.
And the board is trying to shut them down.
Yeah, and they're like, "This is inappropriate. This is inappropriate." And the father and the son are like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it?" You know.
So why is it in the schools?
Ugh.
Yes, they do have a lot of power.
is an LGBTQ friendly book for kindergartners? What does that even mean? And what is with this sort of self-centered mindset that the books in your classroom need to somehow be a reflection of you or need to revolve around you? When you become an educator / teacher, theology to the classroom. If I went into a classroom for my future children and this was their teacher, out the next day.
Define woman. Go, please. One of you.
A person who their internal idea of what they are is a woman.
Terrible definition. Coming from a lesbian?
Yeah, the definition of a woman is how they feel inside. That is what they're trying to say.
That destroys the concept of our sexual orientation. Just saying that it's an idea.
Why?
Why? Because you can't be connected and sexually attracted to somebody's brain. LGBTQRSTUV. Well, how about an H in there for heterosexual?
If you're going to a pride event, an LGBTQ neighborhood, or
okay.
even just
Oh, right.
That was that one.
You go ahead and read that, and then
Yes,
I'll
I got some notes that I meant to read after I did Corinthians. This is after Corinthians 2. It's some things just aren't confusing. Beings who just isn't confusing. But and the truth of the word of God is one of those holy things that Satan distorts. So yes, that's what I was saying, that for today's thing, it's confusion.
They said in the beginning, God created man and woman. And so now they've turned around and made multiple genders. Something that was supposed to be simple is now really complicated.
Yes.
By, Satan, by evil. You get the point there. But,
exactly.
Something as simple as gender, and as well as, like who is supposed to be together. It's all getting muddled with confusion.
It is.
Okay, now this video, just a warning, comes from a website completely and totally dedicated to educating the public about LGBTQ plus things. They don't allow remixing on these videos, so I don't know if you will get a copyright strike. I did a check on it and it came up clean, but
just know I might get shut down on this. We're doing it anyway.
And he already has one warning. So.
Yeah, I've got a warning, so I'm gonna get a strike if something else happens. So if it just all of a sudden ends, we'll see what we can do.
We'll try to do like a follow-up video.
We can do a follow-up or do something.
But that's it. And it's a really blasphemous site because they talk about, they say Jesus was gay. They say, it is not sin to be gay. They're just those kind of people. And it's all wrapped up in this really pretty packaging of rainbows and butterflies and we just love everybody. There's a lot of hate behind it. And I also sped it up in some spots, so the guy will go supersonic speed for a little bit, but I just did that for time. So.
Yeah, this is a lot. There's 94 freaking flags.
And one for us. And it's not a good one, and you'll find out at the end.
Yeah, at the end he goes over one for, anyway. Let's get into this already then.
walk around town, you might see tons of different pride flags this Pride Month. And while these pride flags are the community's way to show off who we are and who we love, they are also our way to celebrate our journey. So it's best to know what they all look like and at least a little about what they all mean, so you don't offend anyone. In a previous episode, we already covered some of these, but that was a year ago, and our fans took to the comment section to let us know all of the pride flags we missed. So this episode now includes all of them and more. We also already covered the gay flagging and handkerchief code.
Sorry. Just to his credit, though, there is no minor attracted person flag.
Of the video, but with the original LGBTQ pride flag consists of 8 colors. It was designed in 1978 by Gilbert Baker for the San Francisco Gay Freedom Day celebration as a symbol of hope and liberation. In 1979, the pink stripe was removed for at the time, and soon after, the light blue stripe was removed as well, to the current version representing 6 colors. These 6 colors represent life, healing, sunlight, nature, serenity, and spirit. This flag is common you'll see around the world, representing our community, and it represents all members of the LGBTQ+. All other pride flags to come in this episode represent groups of people in the LGBTQ. Second on our list is the Progress Pride flag, which represents our community's need for progress in society. It includes the LGBTQ rainbow pride flag and parts of the transgender pride flag in the shape of a chevron, indicating both our need for more progress in gaining equality and representing the progress we have already made. Next, I want to go through the LGBTQ acronym itself. First up is the lesbian pride flag, which represents a woman who is attracted to other women. Next is the gay pride flag. While many in our community use the six-striped rainbow LGBTQ flag to describe gay people, the true gay men pride flag looks very different. This flag represents males who are attracted to other males. Now, I would like to also note that the standard six-striped rainbow flag does represent all lesbian and gay people, but the lesbian and gay group flags are individually different. Next is the bisexual pride flag, which represents those who are romantically or sexually attracted to men and women. They are not exclusively attracted to one particular gender or another. The transgender pride flag represents those who have a gender identity or expression that differs from their sex assigned at birth. A transgender is someone who was born a female, but their gender identity or gender expression is that of a man. And similarly, a transgender female is someone who was born a male, and their gender identity or gender expression is that of a female. And for the record, rather than calling someone a transgender male or female, it is imperative you simply address them by their gender, instead of mentioning the transgender part first, because a trans male is just a man, and a trans female is just a woman. It's as simple as that. Next up is the queer pride flag, representing those who fall under the umbrella term.
It might be simple to them, but it's not the truth. The truth is what matters. Because there's so many of the trans people that I do watch, and what is it? The training, and he's really good too. And he says he's still female, but he's
coping with his dysphoria.
Yeah, coping with his dysphoria. He puts people in their place too really well, and I have no problem saying he because he acts like a guy, and he's really good with it.
That good male masculine energy, you know. Same thing with Buck Angel.
Buck Angel's really good too.
Which reminds me, next week we probably want to cover the, we want to do some more of the modern woman thing. But
yeah.
One of these days we want to do the trans animal thing.
My goodness.
I want to do that one.
And Blair White's another
Blair
one.
White, yeah, I was trying to think of the other one.
She's really good.
Yeah.
Queer. This term is used for sexual and gender minorities who are either not heterosexual or not cisgender. Next is the questioning pride flag, which represents those in the process of exploring or are concerned about applying a social label to their sexual orientation, sexual identity, gender.
As Dr. Rotten says, I guess they need to announce it and be like, hey, look at me. I'm questioning myself.
It's like, who doesn't?
I know. Altogether is an embodiment of ego. It is.
Yeah.
Or all. Finally, in the category of the acronym, the pansexual pride flag represents those who are sexually, romantically, or emotionally attracted towards people regardless of their sex or gender identity. Those who fly this may commonly refer to themselves as gender blind, meaning that gender and sex are not determining factors in their attraction to others. Next up is the category of sexualities, and first on our list in alphabetical order is the Achillean pride flag. This flag is used to represent a man or a masculine-aligned person who is attracted to other men or men-aligned people. Next is the agiosexual pride flag, and this flag is for those who feel a disconnection between oneself and a sexual target. This may
Bear with us, it starts to go a little faster, Dr. Vaughn said, in a minute with some of these, because, you know, this is all the same running together
when they started to
over
really
and over.
When they really started to get the same, I sped through, but then I slowed it down, the ones that are actually kind of like make you go, what? Because there's some really questionable ones toward the end regarding HIV.
Oh, I know. I remember those, yeah.
And then certain tribes that they advertise, and it's like one of the tribes that they represent is the pup tribe, and he's like, well, we're really naive and we're really young, and it's like, so we advertise for predators to come and screw you over then, right?
Exactly.
I got a cat being a...
All of this is so pointless. Like, this is like reverse school. Yes, it kind of is, and that's what they're doing in schools now. They want to teach all this to kids, and so it's like we just watched a video about a family that's got 4 kids of transgenders, 4 of them.
Right. What are the odds?
I mean, that's doctrination. The doctrination at its finest.
Right. That's what they said. They said there was first wave trans and second wave trans. And first wave trans was like the people that you're talking about that have gender dysphoria and had to transition the proper way for the right reasons, if there is a right reason. And then the second wave is all pushed by social pressure. You know, it's like...
And there's a lot of that.
Because it's like, it's good to be trans. Like, at that woman, the woman you're talking about, she says she's got this trans son, and she's hugging him for a really long time, and she's showing him all this affection. And I was saying, would you be showing him that kind of affection if they weren't trans? Because it's really weird.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the reason that the kids have no problem saying, oh, I'm trans, is because of the attention that they get from their parents. Their parents will not give them attention if they don't do that.
Yeah.
So therefore, kids love attention. They will do attention.
Yeah, it's
that is what's going on with all that.
It's totally normal. It's like they're supposed to be getting attention for the right reason.
Exactly. Okay, back to this.
All fantasies in response to erotica, but lacking any desire to be a participant of the activity. A combination of pride flags is the androphilia pride flag and the genephilia pride flag.
Both of these terms, androphilia and genephilia, are used to identify a person's object of attraction without attributing a sex assignment or gender identity to the person. For those with the androphilia pride flag, it represents a sexual attraction to men or masculinity.
On these next one, Dr. Button said just watch this.
Romance people who have an emotional need to be in a romantic relationship. Aromantic people are often satisfied with friendships and other non-romantic relationships. They're sexually attracted to others and have sexual relationships, but the emotional side isn't typically present. Next is the asexual pride flag, which represents those with a low or absent interest in or desire for sexual activity. They can still want a romantic and emotional relationship with others, and they can still want friendships, but the sexual and physical side to the relationship isn't present. Moving on now to the demi-romantic pride flag, and this flag denotes those who only experience a romantic attraction to someone after developing an emotional connection first.
Yeah.
The term demi comes from the...
And actually, I think he sounds better that way. It's not LongWalker. I've actually met rights activists on Reddit. How much you want to bet? Speak out against this. More than likely they would. A lot of the true gay people would always speak out against a lot of this, because I've seen a few defensive tranny. You know, he's a true tranny. And, you know, he would speak out against a lot of these other ones that are coming out. You know, he's very much against the kids. That's just it. You know, so these other people are ruining the name of a lot of people.
And actually, we watched another gay fellow. You know, he's more of a right-leaning. It was when we just watched
Amir.
Yeah. He's gay. He's younger and he is black.
Yes, he is.
And he has spoken out against all of these different pride parades. He said pride isn't even necessary anymore.
No.
Because they've achieved what they wanted to achieve. You know, and it's like I used to have rainbows, you know.
So they said we still get along with most of them.
Yeah.
Because they're on the same level as we are.
I was saying I knew gay people in high school. They were, you know, I had one really, really good friend. We were best friends. Gay people never made me mad the way that this makes me mad.
Exactly. Because it's fake.
Yeah.
It will never make you mad.
Might a little bit.
Well, yeah, but in a way that you can get over and you can get on board with.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is the exact opposite of God. This is the exact
This
opposite
is deception
of nature.
Yes.
Like I said, it's all wrapped up with these pretty colors and these, love is love, you know.
Well, of course, because Satan is going to be
an angel of light.
And he's gonna look like, you know, to a guy, he's gonna look like the prettiest girl.
Right.
I mean,
it's always the most attractive lie.
Yeah, exactly.
It is true. You speak the truth.
Being halfway between sexual and asexual. The counterpart to demi-romantic is called demisexual, and this pride flag represents those who do not experience sexual attraction to another already in place. Next is the dimorphic pride flag, which represents those who are attracted to
non-binary members of the LGBTQ. Next up is the gray sexual pride flag, which represents those who experience limited sexual attraction to others. They experience sexual attraction on a rare basis or with low intensity. Next, the heteroflexible pride flag is for those whose sexual orientation is mostly heterosexual and straight. People who fly this flag characterize themselves as having minimal or situational homosexual activities or relationships in an otherwise straight lifestyle. Contrary to this is the flexible pride flag, which describes those whose sexual orientation is mostly homosexual and gay. These people characterize themselves as having minimal or situational heterosexual or straight activities or relationships in an otherwise gay lifestyle. Both of these could be characterized under bisexuality.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I guess he's going to talk about that, but I was just thinking, yeah, would that not be just technically bisexual?
Yeah, that's, well, I like a little bit of this one, and then 2/3.
And I like how it does say it's like, oh, it's a minimal or situational. So it's like, what?
Yeah.
So what do you mean situational? Like you go away once a weekend. You're married and you go away once a month to go with the guys to do weird things.
Exactly.
You know, does that mean it's situational? And you notice how the straightness is represented in these flags? It's
bland. Yes,
it's
it
colorless.
is. Yeah, I mean, obsession still can get you in trouble regardless. I mean, you know, you said your friends are more obsessed with hating these people than but you know, you gotta, these people are just attention seekers. You have to let them go, let them be, and, you know, keep striding on.
Yeah, that's why I have you too, because it's like you can just remind me. Usually that's kind of like recording. Still going? Still going.
The sexuality spectrum. Moving on to the homoromantic pride flag, which is used to describe those who feel romantically attracted to the same sex or gender. They seek romantic relationships with those of the same sex or gender for companionship, affection, and intimacy, but they are not necessarily sexually attracted to their romantic partners. Next up
is the omni pride flag, which represents those who are attracted to persons of all genders and orientations. It is commonly used as a synonym for pansexuality. Next is the panromantic pride flag, and this flag represents those who are romantically attracted to people of all genders, but not necessarily attracted to them sexually. And now we move on to the polysexual pride flag, which represents those who are like pansexual in many ways, in that they are attracted to most people regardless of gender or sexuality, but instead are not attracted to one specific gender or sexuality. In other words, they're attracted to anyone but one specific group of people, and that one specific group can vary depending on the polysexual person. Next up is the homoromantic pride flag, which represents those who deny or do not fit into any labels for a particular kind of attraction. They may or may not feel sexual attraction, but they are not interested in specifying whether they feel it and to whom. So if you see this pride flag, don't ask them, because they likely aren't interested in telling random strangers about their sexual preference. Next is the sapphic pride flag, and this flag represents women who are sexually or romantically attracted to other women. This applies to both lesbians and bisexual women. Next, we'll talk about gender pride flags. And first in that category is the agender pride flag, which is flown by those who identify as genderless. They are quite literally people who reject the idea of having a gender. Moving on to the androgynous pride flag, which represents those who are a mix of both female and male. Androgynous people don't necessarily feel exactly equally male and female, seeing that they can be slightly more masculine or feminine, but their gender is somewhere in the gray area between the two
genders, as their flag depicts. Next up is the alexigender pride flag, which represents those whose gender identity is fluid between more than one gender, but the individual cannot tell what those genders are. Next is the bigender pride flag, which describes someone with two genders. People who fly this flag have exactly two gender identities, either simultaneously or varying between the two. These could be male and female or could be non-binary, which we will cover in a moment. Next on our list is the demigender pride flag, which describes those who define their gender under the umbrella term demi, meaning half. It is a non-binary gender identity, which has a partial connection to a certain gender. Under the demigender, someone could identify themselves as a demi-boy, which have their own pride flag. This is someone who identifies themselves as non-binary, but has a partial connection to the masculine gender. There is also a demi-girl, which is someone who identifies
themselves as non-binary, but has a partial connection to the feminine gender. And finally, there is demi-flux, which represents someone whose gender identity is at least partially fluid, and other parts of their gender remain static. Moving on to the gender fluid pride flag, which represents those whose gender is on a spectrum of gender identities, and will change over time. These gender identities are not exclusively masculine or feminine, but are sometimes outside the gender binary. A gender fluid person's identity will change.
That's what I was just thinking too. So many sexualities.
Yeah, it's all
So it is best to ask what pronouns to use to address them in that moment. Next up is the gender queer pride flag. And those who fly this flag are people who do not subscribe to conventional gender distinctions, but identify with neither, both, or a combination of male and female genders. Next is the gender questioning pride flag, which describes someone who is questioning whether they are really cisgender or may identify as a different gender or non-binary. Next up is the intersex pride flag, representing those who, for one or more of a variety of reasons, are born with a reproductive or sexual anatomy that doesn't seem to match the typical definitions of female or male. For example, a person might appear female on the outside, but have mostly male typical
anatomy on the inside. Moving on to the Libra Fluid Pride flag, which represents those whose gender identity is mostly agender, but has a strong connection that fluctuates between other genders. It is a similar definition to gender fluid, but with the aspect that it is mostly agender. Next on our list is the Maverick Pride flag, and this flag is flown by those who have a gender and feel they have a gender, but it is completely separate from male or female gender identities. Next is the New Choice Pride flag, which represents a person with a non-binary gender identity, which is often associated with a neutral or null gender. We've spoken a lot about non-binary gender identity, but they have their own pride flag too. Those who fly this flag identify their...
Oh, I'm starting to understand now. I think we're gonna get aliens that are gonna land here. That's why they have to have all these. Because we don't know what people from other planets are gonna be.
Yeah, like the one that says that they identify that they have a gender, but they can't identify what it is.
Yeah.
You know what, or they're attracted to
That was like the last three.
I know, they're all the same.
They don't know what gender they are, so...
It's like, I took advanced biology to learn about the breeding genetics with the wolves and stuff, and then again with the horses.
Yeah.
None of it was this extensive. I mean,
that's sad.
This is crazy.
That is sad.
Gender as one which does not fit into the male and female binary spectrum. Typically, they prefer to be addressed as they or them instead of he or she, but it is always best to ask. One of the major misconceptions is that you'll offend someone by asking them which pronouns they prefer to be called, and that's simply not true. In the LGBTQ community, it is always better to ask rather than assume and get it wrong. Next up is the Pangender Pride flag, which represents those who typically embrace all genders, or a large number of genders. They may be gender fluid as well, in which case they are fluid between many genders over a period of time. Next is the Polygender Pride flag, and those who fly this flag describe their gender as literally many genders. They
embrace multiple gender identities, either simultaneously or varying between them. Last but not least, in the gender...
That's funny. I haven't played that game, but I can only imagine. What is it? They have as many sexualities as Call of Duty weapons.
Well, it's I think they have more than all the Legend of Zelda weapons.
Probably, but there's more flags than there are slots in Legends or Zelda.
Hey Guru, what? How many weapons are in Legend of Zelda? The Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom?
Well, Tears of the Kingdom, there's like millions because of combinations. And Breath of the Wild, I'd say about 1,000.
We'll have to look it up. We'll fact check that. Get back.
Yeah.
Category is the Trigender Pride flag, which represents those whose gender can literally be translated to 3 genders or triple gender. They experience exactly 3. The Bigender Pansexual Pride flag, the Biromantic Demisexual Pride flag, the Biromantic Homosexual Pride flag, the Bisexual Pride flag, the Bisexual Panromantic Pride flag, the Demisexual Gay Pride flag, the Demisexual Pansexual Pride flag.
This is not crazy.
Demisexual Panromantic Pride flag.
They're just adding words together now. The gay pansexual flag. The pansexual with the guy on top of it flag. I mean, come on.
And this little bit here we could remix into some sort of a song, you know?
Yes.
Demi-bisexual pride flag. Gender fluid abrosexual pride flag, which represents those who are gender fluid and abrosexual, meaning their sexuality is fluid. Gender fluid gay
Pansexual pride flag. Non-binary bisexual pride flag. Pansexual romantic pride flag.
Pride flag, which represents homosexuality. The downward-facing pink triangle dates back to the first concentration camp in Nazi Germany. It was a symbol of discrimination Nazis used to use to mark homosexuals. But the LGBTQ community has since reappropriated the pink triangle and now proudly use it as a symbol of identity to show that we will overcome persecution. Next on our list are the LGBTQ.
They put it up their own butt then?
I mean, that was something that was used in concentration camps in
Yeah,
Germany.
that's what he said.
It-
It's like, okay, well, we're gonna use this so that, you know, we're gonna turn it around so it's better.
They say so they can continue to overcome persecution.
Yeah.
What are they really being persecuted for now?
Well, it's like the women,
It is. It all these
the
things-
feminists, like we were oppressed. When?
Exactly.
When were women ever oppressed?
Yeah. That's just, oh god. These two things have a theme. The modern women, the feminists, and
Yes.
these LGBTQ plus people.
So egotistical, I swear, he said.
Yeah, there's nothing, they don't live for anything else but themselves, the now, and their freaking pleasures.
Exactly.
tribe pride flags. Now, before we start talking about the flags, it is important to note that just because someone's body type, personality, or physical look would fit into one of these categories doesn't mean they are a member of that tribe. Members of these tribes typically identify themselves as members, and it's up to them whether or not they want to be categorized by such tribe. Anyway.
Thank you. We appreciate it. He said, LongWalker, you and your family are smart.
Thank you. And we all gotta stick together here, man.
Yep.
Paul?
Uh-huh.
There's a Native American man that I follow, an older fellow, and he always uses that in his titles because he thinks it represents his nation. And it's
Poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, and I thought that it represented his nation.
Well, maybe it did. Maybe that's its original purpose. And these guys
They just took it.
Took it.
And they want to talk about like cultural appropriation. Yeah. Yeah.
The first of them we'll talk about today is the Bear tribe. This tribe is the best way to describe otters and is to think of the actual animal characteristics. In a total coincidence, which was not planned at all, the 69th pride flag on our list is the pup pride flag. For those of us who are pup tribe members, we are defined as a gay adolescent or a young man, with many attributes closely associated with a young canine. Those attributes include playing cute, being inexperienced, naive, bright-eyed, eager, and energetic. We put a ton of love into the world and expect a lot of love in return. Real canines like kissing with their tongue, licking, and cuddling a lot. Just like those of us in the pup tribe. This is to date a puppy. Oh no! The pup tribe can include men of all body types and ages. And if you're a pup tribe member yourself, check out our song Lost Dog and the links below to get some awesome tribe merchandise in our store, such as these two amazing shirts that we put out last year.
Dr. Yvonne just said that she's heard the song, you don't want to hear it.
Yeah, you know, it is the weirdest. He's going around, he's wearing ears, like puppy ears, he's got his like nose painted, he's got whiskers on, and he's like on his bed, and it looks like it's his grandmother's house. He's on his bed, and he's like on all fours looking at the camera, and he's like, I'm just a sad, lonely puppy.
Oh, that one. You showed me that. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't want to crush anybody's creativity and stuff, but the whole vibe is just super creepy. And also, they're advertising the victims.
Because he is. Look at him.
It's this whole pup tribe thing. It's like they're just advertising. Oh, come take advantage of me and then they'll cry about it, or they'll end up dead somewhere because of somebody doing something to them. You know.
Yeah.
But they're gonna just advertise that weakness and be like, oh, it's cute. Yeah. Okay.
All right. We will see you when you get back. He said, "Be right back."
Alrighty.
Should we wait on the video or?
No, it's okay. It'll go up.
Here. Next up is the Twink's pride flag.
Yeah.
The name Twink derives its name from the baked good called Twinkies, which used to be manufactured by the Hostess company and is now being manufactured by two other companies who bought the brand. But that's not entirely important unless you're hungry for a snack. If you've never had one, a Twinkie is a light, airy snack on the outside and has a white, cream-like filling on the inside. But the Twink tribe in the gay and bisexual community is made up of usually teenage and 20-something-year-old guys who are slim and without much facial or body hair. While many twinks are very smart, the tribe itself is termed as the exact opposite, hence their association with a light and airy exterior. But twinks are coined as only being good for one thing, and that one thing is having a white, cream-like filling. Anyway, moving on. Next up is Black Gay Pride Flag, which originated in Philadelphia, PA, and represents members of the LGBTQ who are of African and or Latino origin. This flag is more...
Here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. The black community has to have their own gay flag even.
Oh my god. And then they say, well, why can't we just all be together? Love is love, right?
Yeah.
No, there's another couple racist ones, in my opinion, coming up here.
Love is segregated.
It is. And I didn't see any, like, Native American... There is a Native American one, though. He didn't cover it. With 2 feathers in the middle. Yeah, it represents the twin spirit, which in our culture used to be a very sacred thing.
Yes.
And very rare. That's why it was so sacred. They were like, you were able to walk between 2 worlds, but you also still had to live away and have like a different type of a life from the tribe. You know, you were like, people go to you, kind of like a medicine man.
Okay, like a medicine man. I can see that.
But so you go to them for like different types of wisdom of the mind and stuff.
Yeah.
The heart, and then you go to the medicine man for wisdom, usually of the body, sometimes mind. But if you had a twin spirit, that was probably the best person you should go to talk about those sorts of things.
Yeah.
And now it's been hijacked again.
That is ridiculous.
Cultural appropriation. But they have a South African one as well. I think it just continues. We'll see.
Yep, and welcome back. You met not much. We're going over the gay black pride flag.
Are commonly known as the People of Color Pride Flag. Next is the Fat Tribe Pride Flag.
Yeah, listen to this one.
This tribe name isn't meant at all to be derogatory. In fact, the members of this tribe are very proud of their weight. And to be honest, it's great to see a tribe for this, because it means LGBTQ members can be comfortable in their own body and not be self-conscious, as statistically, sometimes...
That is something else I want to cover someday, and it's this fat...
Phobic.
No, the fat,
Positivity.
Positivity movement
body
that is
positivity.
absolutely ridiculous. And there have been a lot of people dropping dead from this because they know they're fat, they know they're overweight, but yet, well, I look good, I look beautiful, and they'll continue eating to do it.
Yeah.
Or the feeders.
Oh, the feeder gator community. Yeah.
That one is absolutely ridiculous too.
Yeah, that
that
was
the boyfriend or the girlfriend or whichever one will feed the other.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just the girl that gets
No,
fat
it's usually
or...
just one that gets fat, because usually the other one is pretty skinny or
So it could be either
moderate.
or then.
Yeah, it could be, but one of them, there's the feeder.
Yeah,
and
and
then there's the gator. But yeah, the feeder is usually pretty well fit and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have seen some extreme situations where they're both like feeders and gainers together. You know, just like
Lazy's shown us a lot of those.
Yes, that's a good channel.
Credit to him.
Yes.
I am actually lazy and lazy. It's Lazye.
Lay.
YZE.
I put it in.
Yes, he's funny. He's a great YouTuber also.
So our community makes overweight members feel. Moving on now to the Geek Tribe Pride Flag, which represents those in the gay community who have a deep and enthusiastic knowledge of one or more hobbies, sports, activities, professional fields, or intellectual pursuits. So it doesn't just mean gay men who are tech savvy, but means a lot more. Next is the Fruity Autistic Pride Flag, which is flown by members of the LGBTQ community who are autistic. Next up is the Pause Pride Flag, spelled P-O-Z. And this flag represents members of the LGBTQ community who are positive for HIV. But seriously, if you see this pride flag, don't be afraid to walk up and make a new friend.
That's funny because they're using the biohazard sticker on their flag.
Yep.
And it's like, so these people are proudly saying that they have HIV and are going out in public flying this flag.
Like, it's something to be proud of. It's like that's something that you should just like privately disclose to somebody when you become intimate with them.
Exactly.
It's like, but see, okay, I've been on the other side of this, and there is an entire subsection of this community where the entire point is to pass on diseases or to get diseases.
That is sick.
I forgot what they were even called at this point, but yeah, it was sickies or just ill chasers or whatever. The whole point was to like get as sick as possible. I had a client that was like oh, I got a flu from this encounter from this guy, and it's like, he was just elated to have gotten this flu. And it does go all the way up to HIV and AIDS and everything. And it's a very sick game that they play because they don't disclose it.
Mental illness is strong within our country. And I mean, even within... But the United States, for whatever reason, our mental illness here is through the roof.
It is. It is. I mean, you look at the statistics, especially with trans and within these communities, it's skyrocketed.
There are more sexualities than there are different types of monsters like me. Yes.
Yep.
There are.
You don't gotta worry about the spirits, the ghouls, the ghosts, or the vampires. It's the people draped in the rainbows that are the real evil.
Yes. Alright, let's try to get done with this
Pride
one.
event. You cannot get HIV by talking to someone. And some members of the HIV community have HIV as U equals U, which means they live with such small quantities that they can't pass it on, although some still can through sexual intercourse. But don't be too shy to make a new friend. Next up is the military tribe pride flag, which represents LGBTQ members who have served or are currently serving in the armed forces. So if you like someone in uniform, maybe look for these flags at your next pride event. Next is the lipstick lesbian pride flag, which is flown by members of the lesbian community who have a more feminine gender expression. Typically, these tribe members like wearing makeup, doing their hair up nice, and are very effeminate. Opposite to this is the butch lesbian pride flag, which represents lesbians with a more masculine or dominant personality, style, and identities. Now moving on to the communities in the LGBTQ, and first in that category is the drag pride flag. And, well, they actually have two pride flags.
Alright, pause for the puppies.
How much time do you have left on it?
On this?
Yeah.
Like that much of the thing. So it's at 18 out of 22.
Okay, so you're almost there.
Yeah.
And then if you want to try and find like something to finish it up, that's...
I'll probably just finish it there then.
Okay.
If I don't have anything set up.
Yeah, because it's just, he's pretty much covered everything.
Yep.
That needs to be covered, and...
Are you done?
No, hold on. Second wave.
Yep. Stragglers.
That should do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, that'll do it.
Represent their community. The term drag refers to the performance of masculinity, femininity, or other forms of gender expression. And before going to your first ever Pride event, I highly suggest looking up pictures of drag queens and kings to know what to expect, so you're not surprised to see some drag performers there in person. Next up is the lesbian Labris pride flag, which represents lesbians who consider themselves to be feminist. Next is the South African gay pride flag, which represents the gay community of South Africa. It is a pride flag meant to showcase the freedom and diversity of the South African nation. Moving on to the leather pride flag,
which represents the leather subculture in the LGBTQ community. This flag is flown by those who like to wear and show off their body in leather. Next is the fetish pride flag, and this flag represents the community who like to play a little dirtier than the rest of the world does. Unless you're a vanilla person, this flag is for anyone with any fetishes at all. Next up is the rubber pride flag, which is for members of the LGBTQ who love to wear or love to look at others wearing full rubber outfits. And now on to the BDSM rights pride flag, which represents those who believe that LGBTQ members who like BDSM deserve the same human rights as everyone else and should not be discriminated against for pursuing BDSM relationships. Next on our list is the master slave pride flag, which represents those who like to have a power dynamic in their relationships. The vertical line on the flag represents the power and dominance, while the three parallel lines represent submission. Next is or someone looking to become an owner. Next up is the furry pride flag, which represents a subculture of straight and LGBTQ people in the furry fandom.
So these are the same people that rally against, like, slavery and talking about, like, white privilege and how the blacks are oppressed. These are the same people that, I mean, this type of people that say that, right?
Yeah.
But then they have things like slave and owner.
I know. And most of them are the ones in it.
Yeah. And it's like, that's just like, it's like it gives you a really icky feeling, you know, it's like, and they're parading that around. Again, all of those things that they listed with the rubber, the leather, the BDSM, all of that actually falls under like BDSM.
Yeah.
And why are you carrying a flag around advertising that sort of thing?
Well, we're getting on to, he's about to go to furries.
Yeah.
I mean, that one too. It's like, that was one of the most, it's interesting as far as the culture goes, the videos that we've seen.
Yeah.
The stuff that
the
they
costumes
do.
that they make and stuff.
But I mean, it's a whole different life and style. It's crazy.
Yeah, the furry culture, again, I used to be in support of it because I used to wear my ears and my tail. But, you know, that was to represent the animal spirit, the totems and everything.
Yeah.
They have made it something sexual. And
They took the native way and made it completely reversed and perverted.
Right. I mean, it's like in Native American culture, yeah, you would wear different things to represent your animal totems. And then even in Kemetic culture, remember it started, I mean, the Egyptian gods all have like animal heads.
Yes.
So you wear those sorts of masks and stuff to get closer to the gods.
Exactly.
And then they just totally perverted it. They made it something sexual.
I know, they did.
It's like, that's why it looks bad now. And I haven't worn my ears out in public for like freaking...
Because it's something different now.
5
That's what that
years.
means, is something way different
Just
than
like
what...
the dyed hair.
Yeah.
You see dyed hair on a woman, you know, so it's a modern
Nose
woman.
ring, dyed hair, and tattoo on the arms.
That's the trifecta.
Nail 'em.
We learned that all from
On the woke.
From Taylor and Hidon's channel. We learned that
Yep.
from there, man. It was... all right, wrap it up.
Being a furry means you are interested in animal characters with human personalities and characteristics.
Finally, in the communities is the Vor Pride flag. This is one I have to remind you that someone requested we cover it before I gave you the definition. But with that in mind, this is a flag representing straight and LGBTQ people equally, who have the rare fetish to imagine being swallowed. Moving on to the relationship category, we move on to the polyamory
pride flag, which represents those who wish to have an intimate relationship with more than one partner at a time, with informed consent of all partners involved. Finally on our list is the other pride flags, which you should definitely know about, but don't fit into any previous category on their own. The first of these is the gay pride wedding flag, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a flag to represent those who are about to be married, or they are married already. Their flag is like a party of rainbows, to symbolize they found their perfect partner, and they're so excited that they just can't hide it. They're about to lose control, and I think they like it.
Now you've heard about 93 pride flags so far. And yet I know some straight person is out there wondering when your time to shine will be. Maybe you feel discriminated against because you haven't heard about a flag for yourself yet. Gee, as a gay person, I wonder how it must feel like to be discriminated against. But this flag is the only homophobic flag on our entire list. It is called the straight pride flag. But before you go waving this one around town, you should know it was designed and is used exclusively by homophobic people who hate the LGBTQ community. So it is the only one on our entire list which you should never fly. But if you see this flag, you should run away. But in case you're straight and want to still show how much you love and support the LGBTQ community this Pride Month, you should fly this one instead. It's called the Ally Pride flag. This flag represents those who support equal civil rights, gender equality, LGBTQ rights, and more. But it's a flag for those who just happen to be straight and cisgender. So even if you're straight or cisgender, you can still fly a flag to show LGBTQ kids and adults in your area how much they are loved and supported. Anyway, that's all for our episode today. Thank you so much for watching.
Part of the video?
Yeah.
Gender and sexuality are two concepts that are incredible.
That's what I was really wanting to talk about with you because
Okay.
it was this black and white plain flag.
Yeah, the black and white plain flag, which is the flag of the homophobic, the bigot.
So we can't even have a normal flag if we have a flag as being a straight person. Okay, they gave us the one with the V in it that says that you're an ally.
That you're an ally, but I mean, you see how big that V is too.
Yeah, no, it's like it totally overshadows the plain black and white crappy thing, you know. So it was like out of all of those flags, I was like, there's not even a neutral one for us.
No, there's not.
You know, not that I care, but it's just interesting concept.
No, they only did that out of, well, the straight people want something.
Yeah, so they give us some.
So look, here, have this. It's just some side thing.
And you can sense the evil that's behind that chubby, approachable puppy dog type face. You can sense the evil behind it all. When he looks at the camera and he does this snide remark like, oh gee, I wouldn't know what it's like to be discriminated against now, would I? It's like you can just sense that their intentions behind it is not pure.
It's not.
And it's just like, wow. Anyway, so that's that.
Alright, so that concludes the live for today. We'll be back Friday. And I was asking you, Sancho, what you wanted to talk about. You said, talk about how Taylor the Fiend said that the majority of men are black, and the misconception is that they are white.
I don't know if I missed that in the context of the video.
Yeah, so, we'll watch some more of Taylor the Fiend, and I'll see what we can come up with, and...
No, I think he was saying something in relation to the conversation we were having.
Okay.
And I just lost it, because we went so far past that point.
I know.
So if you remind us, we can talk about it. Otherwise,
if you go ahead. Otherwise, was there a subject that you want me to cover on Friday? Let me know. Because we can do that. So we'll set up. If there's nothing in particular, we'll see what we can find on the thing as a deeper subject and see what we can cover. So... Alrighty then. So...
Are you out?
Yeah.
Alright, thank you.
Alright, thank you everybody.
It was good talking points.
Good talking to everybody.
Felt like
you, Sancho.
Family,
Let me know if you want me to cover a certain thing or what's going on. So,
I apologize for giving you such mind-numbing content this week. It was pretty crazy.
Namaste, my friends. And have a great rest of your night and day tomorrow. I will be back with you all on Friday, 6 o'clock.